Exposed CATV cables must be secured by straps, staples, hangers, or similar fittings, designed and installed so as not to damage the cable. This statement is true according to the National Electrical Code, or NEC. The NEC provides guidelines for the safe and proper installation of electrical systems, including communication systems like CATV. Securing CATV cables correctly is crucial for several reasons. Firstly, it prevents physical damage to the cable. Exposed cables that are not properly supported can be easily snagged, bent, or crushed, leading to signal degradation or complete failure. Secondly, proper securing ensures safety. Loose or hanging cables can be a tripping hazard and may also pose a risk of electrical shock if the cable's insulation is compromised. Thirdly, adhering to NEC standards ensures compliance with local electrical codes and regulations. Inspections may be required for CATV installations, and failing to meet the code can result in fines or the need for rework. Now, let's delve into the specifics of securing CATV cables. Firstly, selecting appropriate securing devices is crucial. The NEC mandates the use of straps, staples, hangers, or similar fittings that are designed for the specific type of cable being installed. These fittings should be listed and labeled by recognized testing laboratory such as Underwriters Laboratories or Intertek, indicating that they meet established safety standards. Secondly, the choice of securing device will depend on the type of surface to which the cable is being attached. For wood surfaces, staples or cable cleats can be used, ensuring that they are driven in straight and do not compress the cable. For concrete or masonry surfaces, masonry anchors with appropriate fasteners are necessary. For metal surfaces, cable ties or straps with adhesive backing can be employed. Thirdly, the spacing of securing devices is important to prevent sagging and potential damage to the cable. The NEC typically specifies maximum spacing requirements, which may vary depending on the cable type and the installation environment. Generally, securing devices should be placed every 12 to 18 inches horizontally and every 24 to 30 inches vertically. Always refer to the specific NEC article and manufacturer's instructions for precise spacing requirements. Now, let's talk about installation practices to avoid cable damage. Firstly, avoid over-tightening securing devices. Over-tightening can compress the cable, causing signal loss or damage to the insulation. Staples should be driven in just enough to hold the cable securely without pinching it. Straps should be snug but not excessively tight. Secondly, avoid sharp bends in the cable. Sharp bends can also damage the cable and reduce signal quality. Maintain a minimum bend radius as specified by the cable manufacturer. Generally, the bend radius should be at least 5 times the diameter of the cable. Thirdly, protect the cable from physical damage during installation. Be careful not to nick or cut the cable while stripping the outer jacket or installing connectors. Use appropriate tools designed for working with coaxial cables. Fourthly, ensure proper grounding and bonding. Grounding and bonding are essential for electrical safety and to prevent signal interference. Follow NEC requirements for grounding and bonding CATV systems. Typically, the cable shield should be grounded at the service entrance and at other points as necessary. Now let's talk about specific NEC references. While a precise article number cannot be provided without further context regarding the specific installation scenario, several NEC articles are relevant to the installation of communication cables like CATV. NEC Article 820 covers community, antenna television and radio distribution systems. Within Article 820, specific sections address grounding, bonding, and the physical protection of cables. Article 820.40 covers grounding of the coaxial cable shield. It details the requirements for connecting the shield to the building's grounding system. Article 820.93 addresses the support and protection of coaxial cables. It requires that cables be supported by straps, staples, hangers, or similar fittings designed and installed so as not to damage the cable. Article 300 provides general wiring methods and requirements that apply to all types of wiring, including communication cables. Section 300.4 addresses protection against physical damage. It requires that wiring be protected from physical damage where exposed to such damage. Section 300.11 addresses securing and supporting wiring. It requires that wiring be securely fastened in place. Let's look at some additional considerations for securing CATV cables. Firstly, consider the environment in which the cable is being installed. In wet or damp locations, use cable ties and fittings that are listed for wet locations. In corrosive environments, use corrosion-resistant materials. Secondly, consider the type of cable being installed. Different types of CATV cables have different requirements for securing and supporting them. For example, larger diameter cables may require heavier duty securing devices. Thirdly, consider the aesthetic appearance of the installation. While safety and functionality are paramount, it is also important to consider the aesthetic appearance of the installation. Route cables neatly and use securing devices that are visually appealing. Here's a summary of key points for securing exposed CATV cables. Firstly, use straps, staples, hangers, or similar fittings designed and installed so as not to damage the cable. Secondly, choose securing devices that are appropriate for the type of cable and the surface to which it is being attached. Thirdly, space securing devices according to NEC requirements and manufacturer's instructions. Fourthly, avoid over-tightening securing devices or creating sharp bends in the cable. Fifthly, protect the cable from physical damage during installation. Sixthly, ensure proper grounding and bonding. Seventhly, consult the NEC and local electrical codes for specific requirements. Eighthly, consider the environment in which the cable is being installed. Ninthly, consider the type of cable being installed. Tenthly, consider the aesthetic appearance of the installation. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that exposed CATV cables are secured safely and properly in compliance with the NEC. This promotes reliable signal transmission and minimizes the risk of damage or injury. Remember to always prioritize safety and consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns. In conclusion, properly securing exposed CATV cables is essential for safety, signal integrity, and compliance with the National Electrical Code. By understanding the relevant NEC articles, selecting appropriate securing devices, and following best practices for installation, you can ensure a safe and reliable CATV system. Always remember to consult the latest edition of the NEC and local electrical codes for the most up-to-date requirements. Also, make sure to look at manufacturer's suggestions. The CATV cabling manufacturer and fastener manufacturer will be important pieces in completing the whole puzzle of wiring. Each of these items helps ensure the install is up to spec and code, and in a safe manner. Also, consider having a certified electrician to come inspect the work after installation, as this could uncover any potential issues down the line. With careful planning and execution, you can install and secure CATV cables properly and safely.